Shiro here for Umbra Games with a review of Dragon Quest Builders 2, available on PlayStation 4 and Switch, played on a PS4 physical copy for the review. Now, a couple of years ago, Square Enix decided to allow a couple of its flagship franchises to go into the hands of outside developers for some spin-off games in other genres. One such title was Dragon Quest Builders, blending the enemies and aesthetics of the Dragon Quest series with crafting and building game mechanics. Apparently the first title was popular enough to warrant a second. I know I personally enjoyed it by spending that extra time to platinum, which I really don't do all that often. Dragon Quest Builders 2's story has a minimal tie to the first one, and nothing that can't be picked up immediately as you begin your quest, so you're not missing too much if you just jump in at this point. Building, and thus builders, are outlawed by a cult called the Children of Hargon who pride themselves and participate in continual destruction and hate creation. You, of course, are a builder, and fight them at every turn, exhibiting your message of hard work and creativity at every juncture. While the first game had 4 independent chapters, resetting your materials and recipes with each stage, Builders 2 actually has a central island where you can use all the things you gathered and learned in each of these chapters to work towards building a new kingdom on the Isle of Awakening as well. I remember at first being disappointed with the first game that your stuff didn't carry over, but it actually ended up keeping the game pretty fresh. So 2's strategy to provide both scenarios, resetting for each chapter and carrying over altogether, was a win-win. While you will have a quest here and there in the Isle of Awakening, the main progression there is to use the various tablet targets you unlock and accomplish goals in each region of the Isle. A couple are required for game progression, but most are optional. Dragon Quest Builder 2's camera by default is overhead at an angle, and you can spin the viewpoint at any time, even during the game's mini cutscenes and dialogue sections. It's very helpful to have the degree of control over the camera you do, especially in the tighter situations. I didn't use the first-person camera very much, except when I was trying to do something where the view was particularly bad when zoomed out. Building is as easy as picking a material from the item bar and pressing square. When you press the D-pad to select the item, you'll often see brackets that help show you where the item will be placed. If you mess up, you can use your hammer to destroy it and pick the item back up, or switch to your builder glove that allows you to lift the item above your head for replacement. You can press L1 to place one cube up and L2 to place one cube down from your normal view. Combat remains much the same as the first game, with just a very basic hack and slash with a charge-up spin attack for your builder. However, in this installment you often have at least one friend with you, and I don't think it's spoilery, but you can eventually recruit monsters to your cause, and in addition to extra moves and forms of travel they may provide, will help you during combat, sometimes giving you the edge you need to take down stronger monsters. Boss fights continue to be mechanically driven instead of just simple hack and slash, and each chapter crescendos nicely into that threat. You gain experience for each enemy you and your followers kill, and when you gain enough points you'll level up. Rewards for leveling up include getting additional HP, expanding your breathing meter, but more importantly, your builder will get new ideas for gear that can be crafted, which is where your true character advancement comes from. Your level is capped based on the chapter you're on. The most frequent thing you'll actually build are called rooms, where you place blocks of any material a minimum of 2 blocks high and add a door, being sure not to build too big or it won't count. There are 5 different sizes of rooms total, and sometimes your quest will require a specific one. Once the room walls are there, building and placing different combination of objects will change the room type to kitchen or barn or toilet. There are a ton of variations, and some are required for quests, some you'll find by talking to NPCs, but most of the time you'll probably actually have no idea how to construct a given room. You have a Builderpedia you can access, but rooms will appear as question marks in it until you build it at least once, which to hit the trophy percentage for it, I admit I had to use a walkthrough. You can also combine items like placing stools around a table with dishes on top to make a dining set, etc. Rooms also now have an ambiance, where what you put in the room is tracked on a pie chart, accessed with a touchpad while you're in the room to show you if it's anything from normal to natural to cute. As you begin building homes for your people, they'll have certain conditions that make them happy, including that size, that ambiance, and the overall fanciness level. Each chapter has a designated area with which to build up your central base. You can tell where the boundaries are by listening for the change in music. Any required buildings for quests have to be within that space. Your villagers will live here in each chapter as well, and you level up the base by using their quantified appreciation for building the nice facilities. Materials to build come from a variety of places, including smashing blocks and plants with your hammer, and killing enemies for drops, as well as some advanced farming that's available in this game. While you can store things in chests that you can set practically anywhere, the game gives you a ton of storage that you can take along with you in your bag, and only when that fills up do you have to worry about extra inventory space. You can easily pull items out in a given quantity from your bag and populate the item bar you see along the bottom of the screen, which is easily again switched between by using the D-pad. Like the first game, there is a bit of a survival mechanic in the form of hunger. You'll want to carry a stock of food and munchies to watch that percentage in the upper left. If it hits 0, you can't sprint, and even attacking will not be possible. There are quite a few food sources around, and with the crazy amount of inventory space I mentioned, it's a pretty small hindrance. Another new addition to 2 is through islands called Explorer's Shores. These areas are accessed by using your villagers' appreciation as currency to unlock them, and they can be sailed to at nearly any point in time from the Isle of Awakening. Each island has a different theme, and thus different resources, and also featured 2 specific ones where if you check, i.e. push X, on everything in the checklist, you'll unlock an infinite supply of that resource to be used for crafting, no matter where you are. This is a wonderful feature, in that you don't have to go chopping down trees every time you need wood, or breaking up stone every time you need that. It does mainly just cover the basic materials, though. A very welcome traversal technique in addition to the aforementioned monster recruitment is found in the Magic Cape. This lets you jump from places and float, with very little downward motion, allowing you to cover great distances. You can use the old jump and place a block underneath you to get way up in the sky, and then deploy that cape to explore with ease. In addition, there is fairly instantaneous fast travel between tablets in the Isle of Awakening and navigation globes you discover in the game's chapters. While I'm very much a checklist and quest-oriented gamer and love the amount of content provided here, I will say every character feels the need to tell you a fairly extensive backstory and reasoning for most quests, and by the time I reached the last area, I was a little text fatigued. That said, I did complete the main campaign in about 70 hours within a 2-week time period, so I was jamming on it pretty hard. But sometimes, you just want to get back to building. To take that one step further, there are bouts of unclickable dialogue as well, as in 15 to 20 words appear on the screen and sit there for 30 seconds and doesn't let you advance to the next set of text. This happens far too often. Further, it feels like maybe the X button is a little bit contextually overloaded. When not near anything, it switches your tool in hand. It also does the check technique on Explorer's Shores, activates switches, opens chests, talks to followers, etc., etc. It's not uncommon for there to be more than one contextual action within reach pretty much all of the time. My only other minor issue is you get a tool to let you drain as well as create water tiles. And man, are the physics of that completely irritating. Either that or I just couldn't figure out how to make it work well. But all the things are pretty minor given all the content and building options and things to do here. The decision to provide fresh chapters in addition to the accumulation of materials and recipes for the main island provides a very extensive campaign with a lot of optional objectives. In addition to tons of quest content, materials, and recipes, the randomly generated Explorer Shores adds even more. The combat is a bit simple and repetitive, but you can take a party this time. The contextual action button can be a bit frustrating, and unskippable dialogue gets kind of annoying. But all things accounted for, this is how you do a sequel. Bigger and better. Rated as an action RPG building and crafting hybrid, Dragon Quest Builders 2 lands at an 87 out of 100 on my scale of 0 to 100, where 50 is an average game. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching.